fun stuff.
Oh.
You can keep talking. That's what all the words on the page are all about.
I didn't realize that.
You don't have to just read the words that you write. You can read the words that I write. It's cool. Take 2.
Okay. Welcome to I Used to Know. I'm Scott.
And I'm Steve,
We are your hosts for this adventure into the past.
where we dive into things we used to know when we were kids that are no
longer true.
Hey, Scott,
Hey, Steve.
do you remember back when we were growing up, your family had this croquet set?
I did. We had a croquet set. We have a croquet set now. And we had so much fun playing with that. You know, all the kids in the neighborhood, they would come over. Everyone had a blast. But if you remember, we weren't playing croquet.
Oh, no, we were not. Croquet was boring, right? But the croquet set had all these different wooden mallets, right? And they had a bunch of hard wooden balls.
Sure did.
And we all had bikes.
Oh,
all the kids in the
serious
neighborhood.
bikes.
Yeah, we had these bikes. And it wasn't long before we invented, all right, wait for it. Here it comes. Bike polo.
Oh, yeah. Bike polo. The rules were very simple. Every kid got a bike and a wooden mallet. We split up into 2 teams, threw a kickball, you know, one of those pink playground ones, into the middle of the yard. And we'd all ride around like maniacs, trying to smack the ball with our mallets into the goals that we set up on 2 sides of the yard. I mean, and we even had a goalie. I mean, it was crazy.
Goalie on a bike. What were we thinking?
What could possibly go wrong?
It was amazing, right? It was fast-paced.
Yep.
It was exciting, and it even felt a little dangerous.
That's because it was totally dangerous. Are you kidding?
It's insanity.
It was a bunch of 11-year-olds, just everyone armed with like these wooden hammers,
Oh, man.
pedaling as fast as they could at each other, swinging hammers, pedals hitting your shins. I mean, what could go wrong, right?
absolutely
I mean,
nothing.
I can't even remember who was the first to get hurt, but you know, it was a pretty common thing, and we'd have to call a timeout, and then someone would have to go into the house for some ice, for a black eye, or a shin that got hurt, or blood somewhere.
Yeah, one of the first times we had one of those timeouts, I remember I was the one that got sent into the house to get the ice,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And your mom saw me raiding all the ice out of the freezer. And I had to make up some kind of a story about how it's hot outside and we want to cool down with
just
some
ice
ice.
cubes.
But I'm pretty sure she was on to me because it was November. when
It was,
happened.
yeah. No, it was amazing. All we needed was ice. No one went to the hospital. Nobody broke any bones. We all survived, you know? So, you know, I guess that's what we should be talking about today. I used to know dangerous toys and games.
Oh, good idea.
So, hey, let's grab that Wayback Machine and let's go back to where it all started.
Yep. Well, we're at the first dangerous toy in history,
Hit me.
everybody. Was a pointy stick that 2 caveman kids named Duncan and Kevin would throw at each other. Yep, they did this even though their cave mom kept saying, you're going to poke your eyes out. So
Really?
let's take that Wayback Machine and we're going to go back to the Paleolithic era.
Seriously?
Yeah, please. We do that.
You're making this up, dude. It has to be. First of all, they didn't even speak.
Yeah,
Were they grunted?
I'm kind of making it up.
Well, you know, seriously, you can't misuse this Wayback Machine. This thing is not a toy.
I know.
And you know, if it was, it would be a dangerous toy. You know what I mean?
I see what you did there.
Yeah, there you go,
Very,
yeah.
very nice. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, fine. I just wanted to finally once in my life go back farther in the Wayback Machine than you. Is that so bad?
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I get it. Go ahead.
All right. So where I really want to go is the late 1700s, right? The U.S. is still forming. Beethoven is writing music, and the French Revolution is in full.
1700s. Huh?
Oh, come on. I see the look on your face. You're going to do this anyway, aren't you? You're going to go further back?
But you got to go a little further back. Only the 1700s? Are you serious?
All right, let me guess. What, the Romans?
Yeah, the Romans.
I was just kidding. Fine. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to go to 300 AD, right? So you've got the Roman armies.
Okay.
All right, back then, when you had an enemy that was like about a half a football field away or so, the Roman armies, they would use this really novel device to attack those people from a distance.
Oh, like a hand grenade or something.
Close, and the infantry would carry a few of these plumetae.
Plumetae?
Yeah.
What is this?
Okay, so, when they wanted to attack, they would use this underhand lob, and they would lob these devices at their enemies so that it would just tumble and fall on top of them and hurt them or even kill them. And these devices, they would have like a pointy end and they'd be filled with lead.
Why are we even talking about this, Scott? Toys, Scott. We're talking about toys. Where's the toy here? And you're talking about the Roman army.
Yeah, well, all right, this is true. But these plumetaes, they weren't toys. They were weapons. They were carried by the army to hurt people.
Toys, Scott. Come on.
So, all right. Plumetae in our language would be described as these lead-filled darts that you would lob onto your enemy and kill them. Also known as jarts or lawn darts.
Lawn darts, of course, lawn darts. I forgot about
Plumetaes were the inspiration for lawn darts. Ancient Roman weapons that were used to kill their enemy from afar were the inspiration for a toy for kids.
Fun for the whole family.
The very definition of dangerous.
That's crazy. Lawn darts are inspired by these ancient weapons.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the toy wasn't ancient, but the inspiration, that was.
All right, okay. Now that you've explained it, I will allow it. But you see, mine is really about a dangerous ancient toy.
All right. 1700s, you said.
It's the 1700s. Mm-hmm. The U.S. is still forming, right?
True.
Beethoven is writing music.
I think I've heard that.
And the French Revolution is in full force. I said this already.
True.
What would any budding revolutionist child want in France during the revolution?
I don't
Come
know.
on, of course. They want their own mini guillotine.
Seriously?
Yes.
A mini guillotine?
That's right.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding at all. These guillotines, they were 2 feet high, and they're popular as a children's toy.
Oh my God.
Kids would use this to chop the heads off of things like their dolls.
What?
Yeah, done. Mice? Done. Birds? An enemy doll. Like if there was some like other doll, like their friend's doll that they hated, boom, done. Off with their head.
Fingertips? Done.
So, like,
I can't even imagine that.
forget Mr. Potato Head, man. I mean, this is Mr. Decapitation Head. This is craziness.
Wow, man, wow, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just gets better from here, man.
Yeah, well, I think, as we're talking about these dangerous toys, right, I think we should just jump right over to the mass-produced toys,
I'm
right?
game. Let's do it.
I mean, you go back in history and you can talk about toy swords or toy spears or even a toy blowgun.
Well, hold up. Blowgun?
Blowgun. Yeah, actually in 1964, there was an actual toy blowgun made in 1964. A working blowgun.
What?
Yeah, no. Yeah, of course, not only is it dangerous to shoot the projectile,
A little bit.
but back then, many of the kids forgot to inhale before putting the blowgun in their mouth.
Come on.
Seriously?
So the dart would...
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's like Darwin's theory at work
Oh, my
right
gosh.
there. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't believe this was actually sold.
Yeah, 1964.
That is insanity. A blowgun. Why would you, as a parent, why would you give a blowgun to a kid?
Yeah. So you know what? Because we're talking about the 64. I think we should go a little further back. I think we
Further
should
back.
start really in what I'll call the mass-produced time of crazy toys,
Crazy time.
dangerous toys, which would be the 1950s. How's that sound?
Oh, yeah, that sounds great because I've done my homework for this podcast here. And the 1950s, let me tell you, it was loaded with some crazy dangerous toys.
All right, hit me with some examples.
All right. Well, you remember the Erector set?
Sure, I had
Back
one.
in the 1950s? Yeah.
Not in the 50s, but I had one.
Right? It's just kind of innocuous, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
There's a bunch of metal rods that you bolt together. You build all these kind of things. You can build a little bridge or a tower or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this guy who came up with that was Alfred Gilbert.
All right.
And that same guy also came up with something called the U-238 Atomic Energy Lab.
Well, that sounds nice. I mean, teaching physics, U-238.
Yeah, you would think it's nice and fun until you realize that it had, get this, okay? Not one, not two, but 3 different types of uranium ore. Plus, you get your own Geiger counter so you can hear it click and chirp while your uranium samples are shooting alpha particles all over the place. I mean, uranium and kids. What could go wrong? What are they thinking?
I gotta tell you, just hearing this, it is terrifying and awesome at the same time.
Your 10-year-old self wants the uranium.
My current self wants this toy. Are you kidding? I mean, a little radiation never hurt anyone, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
Hey kids, here, go make your own little dirty bomb kit.
It's crazy.
Wow.
It's absolute insanity. I guess parents of the 50s, they just trusted that the companies that would make up these things would make sure that they're all safe. And, hey,
Sure.
right there on the box, it said Atomic Energy Lab, exciting, exclamation point, safe, exclamation point.
What else would it be?
Right, it's educational. And, hey, that's good enough. Right? It's
Sure.
educational. Right? The kids are going to enjoy it. Plus, hey, get this. Right there in the instructions, it said, and I'm going to quote. This is
Okay.
right from the instructions.
All right.
It says, users should not take ore samples out of their jars.
Safety note.
For they tend to flake and crumble, and you would run the risk of having radioactive ore spread out in your laboratory. This would raise the level of your background count. Honest? Hey, at least
Background count, huh?
Right.
Man, we're not worried about like cancer or poisoning or dying or anything. Background count.
No. And that thing sold for like 2 years solid. They had 5,000 kits. They sold 5,000 kits. And if you want, you can actually get one on eBay if you want. If you got $1,800, you look around, you can get one of these.
Oh my God. In my imagination, I just keep thinking of like the Department of Homeland Security, like kicking down the door, seeing some kid on the floor playing with their Atomic Energy Lab toy, and them saying like, I'm really sorry, mister, for the high background radiation count.
It flaked. I didn't realize it
I
would
had
flake.
no idea. I guess at least we're glad it wasn't the P239 Atomic Energy Lab.
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit more serious.
Oh my gosh. So let's continue down the dangerous 1950s road. How did our parents ever get out alive?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I'm sure that our parents played with some of this craziness back then. I mean, hey, because they lived, we got to live.
We get to make this podcast because they survived the atomic hit.
All right.
Well, let's talk about some other things that they survived.
Okay.
I would like to take us to fun craft making kits.
Oh, crafts. Crafts are fun and safe.
Yes, kids love to make crafts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love to make crafts. So did the kids in the 50s. And so in the 50s, you're going to see the rise of really great crafts like the Burn Right wood burning kit or the AC Gilbert glass blowing kit. Because nothing says fun and safety than kids and hundreds of degrees of temperature.
Wait a minute. A glass blowing kit?
Yeah.
How would this even work?
Yeah. Hey, Timmy, let's heat this up to the temperature of lava. Then stick a tube into it, blow real carefully. Oh, and keep it away from the curtains. And for the love of God, don't inhale.
For the love of God,
Don't inhale.
you're going to burn out your lungs. And this it could be under like the Christmas tree or something.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's just start melting down some glass.
Yeah, exactly. Or the wood burning kit. I actually had a wood burning kit growing up.
You did?
I did.
Did you hurt yourself with this thing?
A few times.
Well, okay. Well, that at least taught you to respect glowing red.
It also meant that I
irons.
could commit crimes because I no longer have fingerprints.
because you burned them all off. So you just kind of like burn into wood and you just draw.
Yeah, they usually had a little plank of wood with like a decoration on it, and then you would burn the grooves into it, and then they came with like these different not gold leaf, but these different kind of color leaf things that you would then just kind of melt on the wood. Wow. Yeah.
I could never have something like that. I was a little bit too distractible. Is that a right word?
Could be.
Because I did not have a long attention span.
Now you know the house I grew up in, so you could picture me sitting in the dining room table,
Oh, yeah.
in the middle of the house, plugged in this little hot iron, and you would just like be pushing it into the wood, and you'd see the little smoke come up.
Yes. Awesome. It's amazing that house is still standing.
Oh, hey, but let's not also forget, back in the 50s, we have things like the Easy Bake Oven.
Oh, speaking of heat.
Speaking of
And
heat.
burning stuff.
Yep, which the original didn't run on a light bulb.
What?
It was a real plug-in oven.
No,
Yes.
it was not.
With hundreds of degrees.
What? How
Yeah.
can... No.
And in fact, one maker had this special oven that wasn't made by Easy Bake. It was like a competitor's oven,
Uh-huh.
right? But their oven was known, because it's well known out on the internet. You go look for it. Their oven would get to 600 degrees.
600.
600 degrees. Real ovens don't even get
Mine,
that hot.
yeah, mine gets to 500.
Yeah.
That's on broil.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be great for making those mini pizzas, but yeah.
What is this? What were people thinking?
I don't know. And there was lots of these kinds of things. Like there were toy irons and the ovens and toy coffee makers. They'd all plug in and get crazy hot. And near the end of the 50s, I guess people started getting concerned, or like I
Gee.
said, there was just everybody's digits were burning.
I wonder
can't
why.
tell. And so they started having, like, they would advertise that there was new safety features. Like,
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good.
like this will only get up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit.
250, because safety first,
Yeah,
Scott.
exactly. That's not bad, right? It's only hotter than boiling water. I mean, I'm sure the kid will learn the first time they get burned.
All of this is absolutely bonkers. None of this makes sense.
I know.
And who would buy these things? Who would sell these things? How did kids live?
Well, I'm gonna-
survive.
I have one more craft I want to talk about, because this last craft
It
is
keeps
going to
coming.
make you go, what? All right.
Okay.
So one more, right? It's the Castor Kit Junior.
Castor Kid Jr.
Yes,
All right,
because
sounds-
nothing says safe than smelting lead.
Oh God.
Did I say lead? Lead.
And you're not just melting it; you are smelting
Yes.
lead.
Lead on a hot plate. And then you would cast your own lead, again, lead, into little lead toys,
Little toys.
that you could play with.
Oh man! And you could lick them. It'd be fun. You make
lead,
little bullets.
I know. Lead melts at 621 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh.
So if you don't end up burning yourself with 600-degree liquid metal, you're stuck with lead poisoning. Either way, it's a great toy.
Gets you one way or the other.
It's just amazing.
The Castor Kid Jr. This is a real thing. You're not just
Real
making
thing.
this up.
Real thing. These little die cast things where you would pour. You'd have to pour it in. You'd have to melt the stuff.
Yeah.
And pour it into the cast. 621-degree liquid metal. I mean, where?
And then
On your counter? I
And when
mean,
you're-
where? I mean, that stuff would even harm a sidewalk.
and when it's done, what do you have like a lead
You have lead.
seashell or something, right? Just something in the shape of something else that's
They
made out of
usually
lead.
had like little characters, like almost like army men.
Really?
Yeah, made of lead. Did I say lead? Lead.
Oh, I am so glad we were born in the 70s because the 50s sound insane.
But I got to tell you, when I'm going to go back to the atomic lab, that still sounds kind of cool.
Okay, I'll give you that. I would like to have a Geiger counter. That would be fun. All right, but now I'd like to move on and like to talk about exploding stuff as a toy. Okay, Scott?
Of course, exploding stuff.
Yep. Okay. So let's take the 1959 Mattel Derringer toy cap gun, and it's in a belt buckle because nothing.
Belt buckle?
You have a cap gun snapped into your belt buckle because nothing says fun like
Or
an
safe.
or safe like an explosion right next to your belly button.
Of course.
or how about the Austin Magic pistol, right? This would shoot ping pong balls at people and things, whatever you wanted.
All right, that doesn't sound bad. I had one of those. I mean, you would put the little ping pong balls on the top, and the spring would shoot it.
Yeah, but you didn't have this one, right?
Okay.
For this, you would add magic crystals. That's what
Magic
they're called.
crystals.
Yeah. You take these magic crystals and you put them in the back of the gun, and it would cause an explosion. Right? And it would shoot this ball out like a bullet. Boom.
Magic
Yeah,
crystals.
it's calcium carbide. Right?
Oh
You
my
used
God.
You used to explode the ball forward, and you get this giant, awesome fireball
Of
coming
course
out of
you
the
do.
barrel of this gun. Well, I mean, if you didn't get it wet before you put it in the container, it would just kind of like explode in your closet, just because it just is hanging out there a little too long.
Hey, look, I guess these days, but if you think about it, right, is it magic crystals or cheap hoverboard? They both explode in your closet.
It's true. It's just a little bit more technologically advanced. And don't even get me started with the chemistry sets of the 1950s, right? Okay, so now if you had some of these sets from the 50s,
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
you'd have the FBI knocking on your door, Scott.
I'm sure.
Right? You had these chemicals in your house, and in fact, you had instructions on how to. And this is in the toy kit. This is in the kit for the chemistry, set. Create an explosive mixture. That was
Nice.
one of the activities.
Sure. No, but that does make me think maybe the 50s, that would have been a fun time to survive.
If you could.
Exactly. And, I mean, I'm sure the 60s, wasn't much better.
Okay.
But
It's gotta be.
But, in 1969, things began to change a little bit because the U.S. government started to realize that, kids are getting hurt. And, well, companies may be more interested in profits than safety.
No.
Yeah.
You're kidding me, Scott.
Just
What?
maybe.
Stop.
Yeah.
Let me let that sink in a little bit.
Yeah,
The
maybe.
companies were worried more about money.
Yeah. Than
Okay.
safety.
I think I've got it.
But in 1969, Congress passed the Toy Safety Act, which was the first time a law established safety guidelines for toys. First time ever that there's actually safety rules for kids' toys.
That's good.
So after that, of course, all the toys were safe.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. They were still making dangerous toys. But this time it was more like an accident,
Oops.
And there's rules about recalls. So I think we should talk about some dangerous toys after this law was passed. Or wait,
Mhm.
I have an idea.
Oh, let me guess. A game. You
A game, right. Who would have thought it? Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to give you the name and description of a toy. You tell me if it's real or not. And let's call it real toy or decoy.
Ooh, it rhymes even this time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to tell you whether or not the toy you're describing to me was real.
Was real or a decoy?
Okay.
Real toy or decoy. And I'm going to tell you the name of I'm going to give you the title of the toy and give you a little description about it.
I am ready.
All right. Super Blast Balls. Yes.
These are better than just normal blast balls. These are the super blast.
They're Super Blast Balls.
Okay.
These were two balls that were pressed with cap gun powder. So this type of powder that you would have for a cap in a cap gun.
Okay.
You toss them up, catch them in your hand. When they smash together, they pop. They would generate a noise and a bunch of sparks.
No, who would do this? You're gonna have basically explosive powder in your hand. If there's one place you don't want to have explosive powder, is in your hand. No,
Of course it's real. It's
super
real.
blast balls,
Yeah, yeah.
fun for
And
the whole
that's-
family.
And that's not from the 50s, if I remember correctly. That's somewhere like in the 90s.
90s,
Something like that, yeah. Yeah,
the 90s. This happened.
yeah.
Oh, that's right, because this is after the
After the law.
after the law.
Anything goes after 69 on this one.
Wow.
On this list.
Okay. I did not
Actually,
get that
I'm going
one.
to say this also works for before 69. We're just going to go through.
Just crazy stuff.
We're just going to talk about crazy stuff.
Doesn't matter.
All right, so here we go. The Butcher Craft Set. All right, it's a kit for people that want to pretend to be a butcher. The kit comes with sharp-ish plastic knives, so it does have a hard time cutting things, right?
Yeah.
But the key thing is that it came with a real meat grinder and all the funs and dangers that you can imagine with that.
What? Wait a
The
minute.
Butcher Craft Set.
The butcher. I need a little bit of background information. Would you take real meat and grind it?
Yeah.
Really? So you have a plastic knife and you're cutting
You're
the meat.
helping the parents. And you're pretending to be a butcher because
You're
you want to.
butcher?
Yeah,
Why? This doesn't even sound like fun. Why would it be fun to be a butcher?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say no to this one too.
It's fake.
Okay, good. Oh,
You got this one.
thank goodness. Because I do not want to have. I don't want to live in a world where there's a toy meat grinder.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right.
What's next?
Moon shoes. Okay, so these
Ow.
are little trampolines that you strap to your feet, and then you jump up and down, and in a couple hours you end up in the emergency room.
I happen to know as a fact that this is true. This is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
I remember.
Because you went to the emergency room?
I did not go, but I was jealous of the kids who did because they had moon shoes and I did not. They look cool. Just
did look-
bouncing around.
They did look cool.
It made it like you're walking on the planet Earth, but it made you bounce like you're on the moon.
I wonder what would happen if you wore moon shoes on a trampoline.
You get the double
Double whammy.
collision, and then whoop.
So,
Cool.
All right. Sky Dancers. These are little fairy dolls, and they're launched from a little plastic base. And so then you pull a little cord and they start spinning around and around and around, and their wings spread out as they spin, kind of like a whirligig helicopter. Except, they spin around really fast in front of kids and, smash into faces and eyes and teeth and
Sky dancers. Well, I remember these whirligig things. I remember these helicopters.
Yeah. The little plastic thing.
You spin them up.
Yeah.
All right, so you just do that with a doll on it? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Hard wings.
I'm going to say yes, that's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yep. And they were really hard wings, and they would break kids' teeth.
Fun.
Oh, yeah. Hours of fun.
Because I guess, you pull the ripcord on that thing, and it would just go wherever, including right into your face.
4 out of 5 dentists recommend it.
Because they need to pay for their boat. Wow.
All
okay,
right.
give me another. Give me another.
Right. The Astro Swing. All right.
Astro Swing.
Yeah, it's a swing for kids.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but instead of getting pushed or pumping your legs, right, you use this air pump, and you pump it up, and you put compressed air and water in the seat. And then when you pull the little lever, it rockets you forward so that you can get the first shot out from like this little water rocket motor. Yeah.
Okay.
But the problem, of course, is that, it rockets you forward, and if you put too much air in,
keep going.
you're swinging to the moon.
Okay, I am going to use a little bit of deductive logic here. I've known you for a very long time.
Okay.
I know your background in some of the sciences, and I think it's just too much work to do all this pumping and water and spray in an Astro seat. So I'm going to say fake.
It's fake.
I knew it.
Yep. Although I want to build one.
Yeah, I could tell.
When I wrote that, I was like, I like this idea.
Though you could patent that. I think that's a winner.
The only other thing I was thinking is if you sit real fast, maybe it squishes it. Anyway,
it's a good idea.
All right. The Colonial Viper.
The Colonial Viper. That's all I get?
Yes. All right. I'll give you the full title.
All right.
It's the Colonial Viper from the TV show Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, I love Battlestar
Galactica. So it's the little spaceship, and it flies around and it shoots little red projectiles.
Yeah, okay. I think I even remember the spaceship thing. It doesn't seem dangerous. It's a real toy, but it's not dangerous.
It is real, and it was real dangerous.
Oh.
So the little red thing flew out and could hit people. It was a small piece that would be your projectile.
Oh.
And in fact, it is this very toy that creates that warning that you see about small parts and choking hazards.
Oh, okay.
It was this very toy that created that because there was a 4-year-old child who got hurt by this.
No, really?
And so because of that, now all of our packaging has the choking warning on their packages.
So it was just too small and got stuck
Right in the back of their throat.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was this thing that caused it. That's why it was dangerous. But I thought it was interesting because it's also, we see that choking warning package, warning thing on all of our packages.
And that's where it comes from.
This comes from that very, very toy.
From Battlestar Galactica.
Colonial Viper.
The
which
old...
I owned. I did have one.
You had one of those?
I had the Viper and I had the Cylon one.
Cylon.
Yeah, that would slide open and then you'd have the 2 little projectiles.
Right.
The Viper only had the 1 in the front, or I think 2 in the front.
Yeah.
So,
Moving on.
Jarts.
Yeah, we talked about
We
this.
talked about jarts. But I wanted to bring them up in this list because over 6,000 people have been sent to the hospital playing lawn darts or jarts.
6,000?
Yeah, and some of them have lifelong disabilities. People who have been injured by the jarts.
That makes sense. I mean, these things were heavy and sharp.
They were heavy and they're sharp. Yeah.
They would, and they land in you, right? Because they just kind of like thunk right into the earth.
They're like pointy horseshoes.
Man.
Yeah.
I had a set of these at home. They were fun, but
I love that game. I played it all the time when I would go camping.
But looking back, it's like, what?
I know. You look back and you're like, that does seem a bit risky.
A bit. Lawn darts.
And honestly, this is probably even more dangerous today because so many people now don't pay as much of attention to what they're doing. They're like on their phone or whatever. Can you imagine?
Kind of like walking around texting and
a game like this with people who pay only half attention to everything going on around them?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Would not be good.
Yeah. The Adventure Personal Treehouse. All right. So this is a seat and you have a rope and you throw the rope over a branch and then it's got like this ratchet thing so you could sit on the seat and then you ratchet yourself up. So you ended up like making yourself a swing, like basically on top of a tree. which of course
Yeah.
meant that you better have picked a pretty strong brand.
to make that happen.
Yeah. And you better not get your fingers stuck in the ratchet.
Or ratchet yourself way too high.
Exactly.
And you're like,
And then coming down was always an adventure.
I'm gonna say I think that's real because I could see how people would want something like that. It's kind of like a makeshift swing.
It is. And it's not real. It's not.
Oh, you make that up?
I made that up.
That's another good idea. Well, it's another really good bad idea, but I could see how you would sell a lot of those
Yeah.
until you got sued.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The Adventure Personal Treehouse. Brought to you by I Used to Know.
We should make a T-shirt with that. All right.
CSI Fingerprint Examination Kit. All right. So
Yeah.
basically, it's like, you're going to go out and pretend you're from the TV show CSI and you're going to check out the crime scene.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've actually seen this in Toys R Us back when there was a Toys R Us. Right? CSI is a big thing.
Yep.
Yeah. You can
It's
make
a
these
real toy.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
It's
sure.
a real toy. And
Well,
it would have been fine if they didn't make all the fingerprint powder with about 7% asbestos.
You were kidding me.
Nope.
The whole thing is about fingerprint powder,
Yeah.
and they've got asbestos in there.
Yep.
Oh man, this is not from the 50s. This is CSI.
This is like now. This is like 2000s.
This is contemporary.
Yeah.
What are people thinking? Oh man.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Creepy crawlers.
Creepy crawl.
Yep. You basically melt this jelly stuff and make jelly bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the danger being you're melting things on a really hot device.
Yeah.
So burns are very probable with this thing. Not to mention you want to get your hot jelly plastic thing out of the mold.
Before it's absolutely cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had some creepy crawlers.
You had a creepy crawler?
Because this was what you would graduate to after you were done playing around with Shrinky Dinks. You remember Shrinky Dinks?
I do remember
Yeah.
Shrinky Dinks.
So Shrinky Dinks
But
are
mom and
fun.
dad were supposed to help you with the oven.
Well, it says right there in
Yep.
the instructions, right? It says right there.
Yep.
Creepy crawlers.
You're on your own.
So just melt a bunch of goo and make some spiders, man. That's what you do.
Yep. Mom, could you take that thing off the plug? I got something to plug in. What you doing? It's just a toy.
That's right. It's just a toy, but you can't run the vacuum at the same time because we're gonna blow all the fuses.
Yeah, really. Looks like you're running some sort of prison when you plug it in, all the lights dim. Ugh.
Awesome.
All right, Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kit. So it's a Cabbage Patch Kit. Those were real. But
Yeah.
This one's called the Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kit. So it's a doll that's going to eat little plastic snacks.
Man, this is something you made up, right? Because Cabbage Patch dolls, I've seen all the Cabbage Patch dolls. There's
It is
no one-
real.
What?
Yeah, so it would eat these little plastic snacks.
But why is that dangerous? It's eating snacks.
Because the way that you would feed the snacks into the mouth, they
Yeah.
had like a series of rollers in the mouth. So they would roll the food in or fingers and crush them.
It actually like pulled in the snack.
Yep.
And then it would just keep going. It didn't know the difference between like a French fry and your pinky.
And your pinky. Yeah. Little design flaw there.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh man, the first person to go to the emergency room with like a Cabbage Patch doll stuck to their hand.
Yep.
Must have been an exciting day.
Aqua dots. Aqua dots.
Aqua dots.
Yeah, so these are like little beads that you can create like 3D creations for, and the beads have a little adhesive so they can like be glued together.
Little gluey beads.
Yeah,
Like you get at
for crafts,
Michael's or
like you make
something.
it- yeah.
Aqua dots.
Aqua dots.
I don't remember Aqua dots. I'm going to say no.
It's real, and the problem is that aqua dots, hence the aqua part,
Yeah.
the glue gets activated by water.
Okay.
And they're little tiny dots about the size of like, I don't know, like the Dipping Dots ice cream,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right? So
Ingestible,
ingestible and activated with water,
which is inside your body.
which is inside your body. So that's half the battle, in that you could be ingesting something that's going to want to glue itself.
To the inside of your gut.
But it gets even more interesting because apparently the adhesive powder,
Yeah.
the adhesive contained like a street drug in it.
What?
That was just happened to be used, like the same thing that's used in a street drug is happened to be a good adhesive,
Just
apparently.
happens
happened
to be.
And so kids who would swallow it, not only did they have to deal with this gluey thing, but they also had children that were dizzy, they'd be vomiting, they may even slip into a coma.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand why the companies are thinking this. They're like, oh, we need a really good adhesive. Let's get heroin or whatever it is.
I don't know what it was, but
It's
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. So eating it and gluing it wasn't bad enough. You got sick or coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get basically overdose
Yep. Okay, I got one more for
on
you.
Aquadots.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Buckyballs.
Buckyballs.
So-
Yeah, I know. I'm a physicist. I know buckyballs.
Right?
C60.
Well, no. The little powerful magnets. They're
Okay.
like little tiny powerful. It's kind of like Aquadots, except they're magnets.
All right, man. Not the real buckyball.
No, not the real Buckyball.
Okay.
This
These
is
are-
the toy
These are
Buckyball.
the toy buckyballs.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Um,
Little tiny magnets about the size of those Aquadots. A little big, kind of bigger than a Dippin' Dot, but not by much.
I'm gonna say yes because buckyballs are cool and they want to use the name.
And it is true.
Yay!
So, but they were really, really powerful magnets,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you can kind of guess what happened if you ingested them.
They'd all clump together.
Well, the first one may just make its way through, you might say.
Yeah.
But if you had a bunch and they all want to clump together, that's because they were so powerful. Once they collect together, that's going to create a pretty big issue.
That's a blockage.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
You got to go in and get those puppies.
yeah. So, buckyballs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So those are all of that's the end of Real Toy or Decoy.
Real toy.
You did really well.
I got more than half this time.
You did really well. You probably got 2 wrong, I think.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah.
That's a new record.
Yeah, maybe I should actually start keeping track.
Oh, we should. We should have like some kind of a record of all this.
Yeah.
Because I spend all this effort to try to get a good score, and I don't get anything for it.
Well, you can always listen to the recording if you want to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think we could go on for hours about these kind of toys, right? There are very dangerous toys out there. Sometimes because a company just didn't think it through.
Not even close.
It's sometimes because they're just misused.
Yeah,
like the Buckyballs, I don't think were actually toys that they were positioning to young kids, but then young kids would get them.
Yeah, well, that's
Right.
on us, right? As consumers.
But I think toys are generally safer now.
Yeah, okay, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, right now in today's world, we don't have as many uranium lab kits to worry about,
Which is
right?
a sad thing, I think.
But now we've got 21st century problems, right? We've got new toys, new issues.
Okay.
You got video games causing repetitive strain injuries, right? You got kids down in the basement playing over and over and over. You've got people getting hurt while they're using virtual reality headsets, and they kind of forget where they are, and they might fall or trip or hurt or smash themselves into a wall. You've got online internet privacy concerns, right? You've got safety issues of predators out there online, and that's all just kind of like high tech. But we also have still these old school toy problems, right?
Like what?
Like, okay, Black Panther came out this year.
Great movie.
Right? Great movie.
Love the
movie. A lot of toys around Black Panther.
Merchandising.
That's what it's all about. One of the toys is called the Marvel Black Panther Slash Claw.
Slash Claw.
Slash Claw. It retails for $9.99, Scott. Right? But it has slash right there in the title. Right? That's what it's called. The Slash Claw. And despite that, it's got these warnings on the package that say, kids, don't hit anybody with this. Don't swing at people or animals or any object. Don't do anything with it. All the kids are swinging and slashing at people.
AKA,
So
it should only be used by mailroom people. We need to open up packages.
So really, at this stage, the best advice for everybody is for the consumer to beware, right? Think before you buy.
Sure.
Keep an eye on your kids. And if you give a bunch of kids a few minutes to get into trouble, they're gonna get into some trouble, right?
Probably.
Bike polo? Remember bike polo?
I still love bike polo. It's one of our greatest inventions.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, man. So, all right. So, Steve, what do you think was your personal favorite dangerous toy? Did you play with anything dangerous?
I did play with something that was very dangerous, but it didn't seem dangerous at the time.
They never do.
Until it went bad. Right? And I had a set of golf clubs.
All right.
Right? And we'd have kids from the neighborhood come on over.
Yep.
And we'd put the little golf ball down at the bottom of my yard, and we'd hit the golf ball. And everybody would be like, okay, your turn to hit the golf ball. Your turn to hit the golf ball. And then it just got a little too busy, too many kids around, and then one kid right in the eye, big shiner.
Supposed to yell 4.
We did not observe proper golf etiquette. We were probably a little too close to the swing,
Maybe a little too far away from the golf course.
a little too far, and we were unsupervised. So out there in my yard with a bunch of golf clubs, which are basically, get rid of the word golf. They're just clubs. we're just smacking each other
Made
with clubs.
of metal.
Yeah. So that did not work out well for me in my yard.
That's funny.
Now, how about you? What kind of dangerous stuff did you play with apart from wood burning kits and a bunch of fire?
I have my favorite dangerous toy.
Okay, hit me.
And it wasn't the Atomic kit. That still would be cool.
We'll get you one of those.
I'm just obsessed with this idea of an Atomic kit. So, but no, my brother and I went to a garage sale once.
Oh, a great place to get toys.
Especially dangerous ones. And it was near Andover, New Jersey, right?
Okay.
And there we saw it.
Fun.
Terrifying fun.
What was it?
We begged Grandma and my mom, can we please get it? Please get it. Please get it. It was like $3 because they were just trying to get rid of it. Most likely because it already killed 3 of their kids.
Let's get this out of our house.
Exactly.
What is it?
It was called the Snow Bob.
The Snow Bob.
As in like bobsled.
Really?
It was a 1-speed bike, like basically like those 1-speed BMX bikes.
Okay.
Right? But no tires.
Yeah.
Right? It had 1 pivoting ski in the front and 1 fixed ski in the back. Just 2 skis.
You use this on snow. All right.
You use this on snow, and there was no way to stay upright. There was like no, it was just basically a bike with this like ski in the back and ski in the front. And in fact, the handlebars, they weren't like tethered to reality. You could just spin them around wildly. So you can imagine if you were using them to actually ride,
it didn't matter.
It would be out of control. You'd be out of control all the time.
You're just going with gravity.
Not a single piece of safety devices anywhere. Just steel and skis and the will to not die.
How did you survive this winter?
I loved the Snow Bob. So, growing up in the backyard, right? We had that small hill in the backyard. But, snow, that's good okay for a little sled, but Snow Bob, you need some momentum.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we took this thing to the old consolidated school playground in winter.
Oh, there's a hill.
So that was like, if you remember, the playground was like in a hole, basically, right? And you had that long paved, steep driveway down to the stone-filled playground. Like the whole playground was stone.
Yep.
No grass, nothing soft, just crushed stone, right? Where you had the swings and the teeter-totter.
Oh, yeah.
I have an idea. We should do a mini pod on just dangerous playground stuff.
There's so much in a playground that's dangerous.
Oh my God, there's we were just talking about the crushed stone. Who would put crushed stone to be safe?
Because kids love crushed stone.
Nothing like falling into a safe vat of crushed stone.
Let's do that. That is a great idea, man.
Cool.
All right. Let's continue on with the snow thing that you have.
That would be the Snow Bob.
Snow Bob.
Right. All right, so the blacktop driveway, right, was still covered in snow.
I can picture it.
Yep. And so I got onto the Snow Bob and then started down the hill. About halfway down, I realized there were no brakes. Just falling off, and I was definitely accelerating.
Falling off.
And falling off into a blacktop driveway, even a snow-covered one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun.
Yeah, no, that's a bad choice.
Yeah, so I hung on. And I could see that level bottom of the playground coming.
It's coming.
Right? The end of the driveway. I'm going to make it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the age of 10, the actual details of physics, they were still escaping me a little bit here.
Not there yet?
No, because I say that because when I hit the bottom of the driveway, traveling at about, Mach 2, I hit the leveled, crushed stone playground.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Funny thing.
Yeah.
Crushed stone makes a lot of friction.
Sure it does.
Even snow-covered crushed stone.
You're going to stop.
So my Snow Bob decelerated really, really fast.
You must have gone
on a dime.
Flying.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it would have been good to have studied Newton's first law of motion because, as a reminder, basically things at rest want to stay at rest, but things in motion, they stay in motion. And, I was still in motion And so I went flying over the handlebars.
Oh, man.
Yep, into the snow-covered crushed stone.
That sounds horrible. But I guess you were sitting here across from me,
lived.
so you lived.
I
Good.
did.
That's
I
good.
did. Thank goodness for the snowsuit, the snow gloves, the ski mask.
Padding.
Yep, all that saved me that day. It was like wearing my own airbag.
I can't put my arms down.
But I will say,
Yes.
it was my favorite dangerous toy ever.
The snowbob.
My Snowbop, which officially I shared with my brother.
Okay.
You know, that was the deal.
Yeah, because you should both have the opportunity to hurt yourselves.
To die.
Gee, that's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, you got anything else?
The one thing I've got is I don't know if you remember, but back in the 70s, Saturday Night Live was the big thing, right?
It's big again,
Yeah,
too.
SNL. It
Yep.
is. And so this is back in the Dan Aykroyd era.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the Christmas episode, 1976. Dan Aykroyd. He was with Candace Bergen, who was the host that week.
Okay.
And he was Irvin Mainway, and he was being interviewed about all of his dangerous toys that his toy company makes. And it's just, if you have the chance, go to YouTube, type in SNL Irvin Mainway, and just enjoy, because he talks about his toy, the bag of glass.
This is simply a bag of jagged, dangerous glass bits.
Yeah, right. It's it's a glass. It's broken glass. It sells very well, as a matter of fact.
Which is made to help kids understand about light and refraction, and it says right there on the
bag of
bag,
glass.
it says it's got sharp glass, so be careful, kids. There's another toy called Johnny Switchblade, which
What
is
could
like
possibly be wrong with that?
it's like a Ken doll that's got switchblades that come out of the elbows. There's the bag of sulfuric acid. There's Teddy Chainsaw Bear. There's so much in this. And in the 70s, they made this skit because there were so many of these toys that are for real out there, and they just didn't do a parody about it.
That's funny.
How about you, Scott? You got anything?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I want to point out kind of like an unlikely dangerous toy
Okay.
that you and I used to play with all the time.
Which is?
Toy guns.
Oh, yeah. We played with toy guns. You run around, you kind of like cops and robbers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And our toy guns looked real.
Oh, yeah. They had...
They were seriously, like, I still have my toy M16s.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're up in the attic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they looked real, which was really cool. They were awesome for, battles.
Yeah, from a distance, you can't tell that they're plastic.
No, not at all. And I even had a real looking battery operated water pistol with a water, like a clip that you would put the water in. So you'd pop the clip into your pistol.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's serious.
Yeah. But these days, real looking guns are definitely not safe to play with at all.
Oh, no, that's a bad idea.
A terrible idea. So this is almost like a PSA, right? I mean, it's a bad idea to have them. And in fact, in many states, it's illegal to buy new ones
Really?
that look real.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's got to look fake.
yeah, so like states like New York, New Jersey, California, like Washington D.C., even Arkansas, they have
Really?
they have laws that regulate around toy guns and how you could display toy guns in public, specifically ones that look real.
Oh.
And did you ever notice that the toy guns these days have that orange tip?
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah. Well, that's because in the United States, federal law and regulations indicate that all toy guns transported or imported into this country must have a 6mm wide blaze orange tip or a blaze orange stripe 1 inch or 2.54 centimeters thick on each side of the barrel.
That sounds pretty serious. I mean, they've got it down to the 0.54 centimeters.
And what I will point out that's kind of interesting is that the regulation is the 6mm wide blade. So to the metric system, it's still hiding there,
That's
right? Like
true.
in our podcast.
That is true.
Yeah.
And this is a federal regulation.
Federal regulation in
And it's got
millimeters. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So anyway, I thought I would take this moment just to remind everyone to be safe and that the old school toy guns are actually dangerous
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah, you don't want somebody thinking you've got a real weapon on you.
No.
Super soakers, you can tell that those are fake.
Those are very
yeah.
fake, yeah.
But the other ones are like yours with the clip in it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's-
Or those, I'm telling you, these M16s that I had
Right.
growing up, man. They even had the thing where you pull the trigger and it would go da 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 da.
Yeah. Today, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. So you got anything else?
No, I think that's it for this week.
All right. Well, then I guess that's how I used to know dangerous toys and games. I hope you like this podcast that I used to know. By now, I know you know we're on iTunes and TuneIn, Radio Stitcher, Google Podcasts.
Keep it going.
Yep. Everywhere you can get your podcast fix. But did you know how important ratings are to help other people find our podcast? It is huge.
So important.
Oh, yes. So if you can go to your favorite pod player and give us a rating, we would be forever in your debt. And
Well,
yeah, at least really, really thankful.
Really thankful.
Yeah. Also, if you have a suggestion, something that you used to know, well, we can help. Come visit us on Facebook at I Used to Know or Twitter at I Used to Know Pod and tell us about it. We would love to hear from you. Thanks, as always, to the amazing Stevie Jump for our theme song.
Stevie Jump.
And again, thanks for listening. 3s and 8s, everybody, and talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.